It's worth pointing out today, because of today's news, that Fox News in particular has also focused on another target, the scary Muslims that are out to get you. That has been a Fox News specialty for a long time now.
If you're a 20 to 30-year-old Islamic male, even if you have no evil intentions, expect to be delayed. We have to profile.
It's time to have a Muslims checkpoint line in America's airports and have Muslims be scrutinized. Yeah. You better believe it. It's time.
There's no question there is a Muslim problem in the world.
The truth is that Muslims tend to be more violent than Christians.
Do you think it's time for the military to have special debriefings of Muslim Army civilian officers?
The other day, I listed case after case of Muslim soldiers with attitude, is what I've called them over the years, who've been able to infiltrate themselves and insinuate themselves in the armed forces despite all sorts of warning signs about their hatred for America.
Muslim Day at Six Flags. I can't imagine that in 1948 they would have had Japanese Day at the water park on December 8th.
Stop with the government Muslim outreach programs, okay? I'm tired of it. While the president was hosting an iftar dinner for Ramadan, by the way, my apologies. I didn't even know Ramadan was happening, so I didn't get you a present. I'm sorry. But I know it's late, but I'm going to put up my Ramadan tree after the program tonight.
Profile Muslims between the ages of 16 and 45. That should be done automatically by professionals.
These names, Muhammad and Yusuf, don't they sound kind of familiar? We have to be able to profile. And I'm sorry, if I see two guys that look like Abadabadu and Abadabada, I'm going to pull them over. And I want to find out what you're doing.
If you are an 18 to 28-year-old Muslim man, then you should be strip searched.
Fox News hosts and contributors there. Today, the biggest story in news about the news is that a news analyst named Juan was fired from his job at National Public Radio for having said this about Muslims on Fox News.
When I get on a plane, I got to tell you, if I see people who are in Muslim garb, and I think, they're identifying themselves first and foremost as Muslims, I get worried. I get nervous.
The shorthand headline for what happened with Mr. Williams today is Juan Williams fired from his job because of those comments about Muslims. To be more precise about it, to be more accurate, it should be noted that Juan Williams had two jobs, and he lost one of them. He lost his job on National Public Radio, which said that his comments were, quote, inconsistent with our editorial standards and practices. So Juan Williams is no longer working for National Public Radio. That's true. But he most certainly did not lose his job at Fox News. In fact, today Juan Williams was given a raise at Fox News as a result of this whole thing. Quote, Fox News handed Williams a new 3-year contract Thursday morning in a deal that amounts to nearly $2 million, a considerable bump up from his previous salary. Wow, nearly $2 million. Mazel tov. Fox News chief executive Roger Ailes said of Mr. Williams, quote, he's an honest man whose freedom of speech is protected by Fox News on a daily basis. If you mean freedom of speech in a legal sense, in a constitutional sense, let's be clear here. This is not a First Amendment issue. Juan Williams has the right, every American citizen has the right constitutionally to say anything that he wants. All of us do. That's what the First Amendment does. The First Amendment does not guarantee you a paid job as a commentator to say what you want. Your employment as a person paid to speak is at the pleasure of your employer. And in this case, it displeased Juan Williams' employer, at least one of them, for him to have reassured the Fox News audience that he, too, is afraid of Muslims on airplanes and that that's not a bigoted thing. That comment did not fly with one of the people who was paying, one of the organizations that was paying Mr. Williams to say what he thinks. And so Juan Williams lost that job. This is not a First Amendment issue. This is an issue of what your employer is okay with. And at Fox News, it is not only okay to talk about Muslims being scary on airplanes. It is expected. It is part of the agenda. It is what they are selling.
It's time to have a Muslims checkpoint line in America's airports and have Muslims be scrutinized. You better believe it. It's time.
There's no question there is a Muslim problem in the world. If you are an 18 to 28-year-old Muslim man, then you should be strip searched.
When I get on a plane, I got to tell you, if I see people who are in Muslim garb, and I think, they're identifying themselves first and foremost as Muslims, I get worried. I get nervous.
Be afraid, America. Be afraid. And don't forget to vote. Boo!